Hello folks, welcome to this video on Tech Investor. This is Shrini here. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Before we get started, just want to state the disclaimer. All the information presented in this video is for educational purposes only. You can use this information for your trading decisions, but you're solely responsible for your decisions. So having taken care of the disclaimer, I just wanted to talk today about the Apple's $110 billion buyback bonanza. Basically, that was the biggest buyback that we saw. Apple last week reported earnings that were like pretty good. They had so right, as usually the stocks go up on the future prediction, right? So their services segment increased by 28%, but their iPhone sales were slumped. But on the other side, they are seeing a good, the coming year, they are seeing a good year, good quarters, basically in China and those kind of things. And also the virtual pro reality is also getting in, like that could be a big bonanza for them in the coming quarters. So, and also they have been investing in AI and they are seeing some good profits over there. So that's what is pretty much, but the Siri on the other hand has not been so good for them. So these are some of the highlights, right? On top of that, they went and bought up $110 billion buyback. Whenever I see these buybacks, I see what happens is that means the companies don't have much of a future plan. That's what is my initial thinking is. Why would somebody go and invest, buy back the shares when they can invest in future growth projects, right? That was my first concern. Why would Apple buy back $110 billion? That's what is my concern. And as I predicted, even Warren Buffett went and sold the 13% of the shares of the Apple. And that didn't affect the stock because of the buyback was so huge that it went up, and also they increased the dividend. So both increasing the dividend and the $110 billion buyback is like kind of tricky for me. Like, does this company have really believe in the future growth? That's my question. So, yeah. So I would love to know your thoughts on it, but definitely I feel that that's kind of saying that, hey, the growth has slowed down and I want to rather buy back my shares so that I can, reduce the number of shares in the market and so that my price increases. That's what it is, right? So the less supply, the more the demand is. That's what it is. So having said all these fundamental factors, right, let's look at the chart here, which is in front of me, the Apple chart. You see the weekly on the top and on the daily on the bottom. So if you see that on the daily, there's a huge gap here, from here, 172.80 was the high of this was 173.41, and then we went to $187. That means it's a $14 gap, and it just sprang up. So whenever whenever there is a gap, usually it tends to fill in. And if you look at this Ichimoku, for those of you who follow Ichimoku, it looks very, very bearish. But having said that, Apple is definitely a different kind of stock. A lot of people follow this and a lot of volume here. You see, but definitely, and here also it's pretty tricky in the sense I see the volume very reddish here. I don't know why, because that is kind of like another tricky thing here. But on the weekly, I see the green volume here. That means a lot of buyers are coming here. So maybe this is a trend spider thing. I'm not sure. But again, this is throwing mixed signals. Now, what do I expect, right? First of all, Apple went very nicely and there was a lot of profit made. But now the next step is I would love it to pull back. Look at this here on the weekly. It went over the EMA 821 cloud and it just stood there. And it also crossed the Ichimoku, right, cloud. Now, you see here, it didn't go to the bottom of the cloud at all on the weekly. And here, it was from the bottom of on the daily, it went from the bottom of the cloud straight into the top of the cloud. So that means here, but again, if you see here, I wanted to see something here just in case. The conversion line is just above. So that's a good sign. The conversion is above the baseline. Conversion is at 175.95, and this is also it's looking bullish. but the cloud is looking a little bit bearish, but the Chiku span is looking good. It's above the price. So that's pretty good. So what I would like to see is I want to see if the price consolidates on Monday around the 75% retracement. That is like 182.53. If it stands here, this would be looking like a snap chart, and it would go and touch this higher edge, which is 188, 189. These kind of things it could touch there. So the first step is we have to see if the price stays above 182.53 on Monday. Then I would be a buyer here to buy the price here. If it not, then go to the next stop. The next stop would be here, basically at 175.54. That is like at the bottom of the cloud. That is where your conversion, the baseline, and the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud is there. So this would be there. So 175.82. So this all depends upon the SPY, how the SPY is going to move. If you look at the SPY chart, the SPY is like, it fell down for 3 days, and there's also a gap here from the bottom of the EMA cloud to the top of the EMA cloud. So at least I would like to come back to the cloud on the daily, which is 506.85. So that's where the top of EMA 821 cloud is. So I would like it to come here before it rises here. So yeah, so definitely I feel there is some pullback on Monday because there was a huge gap here for SPY and also for QQQ. The QQQ also there was a huge gap, but it broke above this line. So QQQ, I'm not sure. Definitely it has to go to 438, but will it stay above this line or will it come back to the cloud? But from what I've seen is it will at least come back to this. Most buyers are seeing the EMA 821 cloud. So this might come back to here, the 428 area, so that it can move back to 438. That's what my gut feel is about this. So watch out for these levels on Apple, folks. 182.53 is the first level. If it breaks down through that, we are looking at 175.54, and from there it might raise up. So, and the cloud is at 173.09. So this is like a magnet, the EMA 821. So that is also a thing. That is also a big concern here. This is the first, and if you see here, before the earnings, it was 1 day above the EMA cloud. So that's why it sprang up. Now we might see this pullback on the third day to here also to this level, which is 173.27. So that would be the levels that you want to watch out for. So once you get there, you might see a rapid pullback. So definitely a gap fill, and then we might see the stock going up. So that's all I wanted to share with you, folks. Definitely, I would appreciate if you could provide a like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get the information as fast as we publish. And also would love to hear your feedback on what kind of videos would you like to see in the future. With that, I'll catch you in the next one.